The qualifying race at Sachsenring saw a good start from the Lamborghini on pole position. Nicky Pastorelli led into the first corner, but behind there was drama amongst the Fords as Antoine Leclerc set off a sequence of events that took out two other Fords, one his teammate and the other the Mark VDS car of Mark Henrici. Safety car was brought out as those cars were dealt with. The Lamborghini led from the Hex's Aston Martin under slow conditions, and it took a few moments to get those stricken cars out of the way. Once the race restarted, it was the Corvette of Nicky Katzberg on a charge, and he pulled off a fantastic manoeuvre only to lose the back end of the car as he tried to accelerate out of the corner. The youngster who had shown such promise meant a very disappointing end for the Corvette, and also very disappointing for Mike Hazelmans, who was due to take the car over. All eyes were now on Fred Makovicky, who was driving the number 41 Ford. He started 14th after his teammate had spun in qualifying, but he was just picking them off one by one and making that look very, very easy. The Ford was handling brilliantly, particularly in the tight sections, getting past Michael Krum, getting past Peter Dambrecht and going after the leaders as well. Next car he came up against was the Aston Martin of Alex Muller, and he did come up against it quite literally. They made contact on the exit of turn 3. That spun Alex Muller around, but no further action was taken by the race director. We got into the pit stop window and the leaders came in pretty close to one another. The Alinkel Lamborghini from the lead, the Hexis Aston Martin, and also the young driver car as Darren Turner and Stefan Mucker swapped over. But once again, it was Hexis that got their car out in front of that group, and it was also a terrible stop for the Alinkel Lamborghini that was left way behind. In the meantime, Fred Makovicky's been putting in some clean laps, and he had managed to come in later than anybody else. It was now down to his pit crew to try and get him out in front of that Hexis Aston Martin. It looked as though it might be close for Max Martin, who'd taken the car over, but in fact he got out in front of the Aston Martin, and from that point on he was never headed. He was able to pull away. The Lamborghini that had led earlier was now trying to reclaim some of those places lost during the slow pit stop, and they were able to do that, but one or two others were still finding conditions tricky. If you got offline, it was very easy to spin. Christian Hohenadel was desperately trying to find a way past Richard Westbrook, one way then the other. The Aston Martin couldn't quite get past the Nissan, but the Nissan was fighting himself to really keep them behind. The Lamborghini managed to get past the Aston Martin of Christian Hohenadel at one point, and then went chasing after Richard Westbrook, but a very late piece of braking saw him actually run straight off the road. Westbrook kept out of the way, and the Lambo was off into the gravel trap. Then the Aston Martin had another go at getting past the Nissan, and finally, in the closing moments of the race, he was able to do just that. But up front, no problems at all for the Ford of Maxime Martin and Fred Makovicky. It was a comfortable victory for the two of them.